Honorable Polwane, Honorable Kaula, Honorable Peterson, Honorable Chauke Adonis, Honorable Shabango, Honorable Tsotetsi, Honorable Khadebe. I'm sure the other honorable members will join us, but you're all warmly welcome. Also, a warm welcome to our support team, Ms. Silly, Ms. Matthews, Ms. Levendal, Ms. Abrams, and also Mr. Van der Westhuizen. Colleagues, I also want to greet all South Africans that are following us on the various social media platforms. Welcome to this, our very first meeting of the second term. I hope that you, honourable colleagues, had a good leave period and a good constituency period, and that you were able to do important work in your constituencies in serving women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Colleagues, we stand at the start of a very busy second term, which will include us participating in budget votes. I therefore felt it important this morning that we start the second term with getting ourselves ready for the new term by looking at our second term program, by adopting our minutes, and also then preparing for the APPs that we will be receiving next week. So most of the meeting will be our content advisors and our researchers going through a variety of documents that they have prepared for us. Good morning as well, Honourable Adams. Colleagues, in front of us is the agenda for this morning. Ms. Silly, can you please take us through the agenda? And the apologies.
Good morning, Chairperson and honorable members, and good morning, colleagues. Chairperson, for the agenda today, we have the opening and welcome. We'll look at the consideration of remuneration of public office bearers for the CGE. We will then consider the committee second term program. Then there will be discussions and then adoption of minutes and reports. Then we will have an internal business meeting where the content and research team will brief members on what the APPs for NYDA department and CGE they should look up to or scrutinize on, and then we'll have discussions and closure. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Silly. Colleagues, please may I take a hand for a mover and a seconder of our agenda?
Chairperson.
Good morning, Honourable Chauke Adonis and Honourable Polwane.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson and Honourable members of the panel. I do sincerely apologize, I'm unable to raise my hand, but I would like to move for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chauke Adonis. I see the hand of you, Bongani. Good morning.
Morning, Chair. Before I second the agenda, I'd like to forward the apology for Honourable Kukumtunu. She's not feeling well today. I second the agenda for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mklonishwa. Appreciate that, and we wish Honourable Mqunu a speedy recovery. I also know that Honourable Kanyile will join us a little bit late. She's just on a flight. Are there any further apologies, Ms. Silly? I do see everyone online, except for Honourable.
Yes, Chairperson, my apologies. I also received a message from Honourable Biko. Her flight was delayed, so she's arriving around 10, but she will connect as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you very much. Then let's move to the item of the consideration of remuneration of public office bearers of the CGE, the letter that we received from the President. If you can flight that for us. And then just read it for us, Ms. Silly.
Apologies, Chair. I am going to share it now.
Thank you. Do you want me to go through the second term program first, if that's easier to access? Okay. Just read it for us, Masili, please. You can read it, Masili.
My apologies, Chair. I'm reading, but I'm on mute. We received a letter from the Speaker's office. It is a letter from the Honorable President, which is addressed to the Speaker, dated the 10th of January 2026. The heading is Determination of Remuneration of the Public Office Bearers, Independent Constitutional Institutions, 2025-2026. The letter goes as follows. I have received the annual salary recommendations for the public office bearers, including members of the independent constitutional institutions from the Independent Commission for the Remuneration of the Public Office Bearers, the Commission. The Commission has recommended 4.1% salaries increase for all public office bearers, including members of the independent constitutional institutions for 2025-2026 final year. In arriving at its decisions, the Commission, amongst others, considered the following factors: the role, status, duties, functions, and responsibilities of the public office bearers concerned, affordability of different levels of remuneration of public office bearers, current principles and levels of remuneration, particularly in respect of organs of state, inflation, and available resources of the state. Having considered the Commission's recommendations and its impact on the fiscus, I am intending to determine 4.1% salary increment for members of the independent constitutional institutions for 2025-2026 financial year with effect from 1 April 2025. Section 9(1) of the South African Human Rights Commission Act 2013, Sections 2 and 2A5 of the Public Protector Act 1994, Section 7(1) of the Public Audit Act 2004, Section 14(1) of the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Communities Act 2002, Section 7(2) of the Electoral Commission Act 1996, Section 10(1) of the Independent Communications Authorities of South Africa Act 2000, and Section 8(1) of the Commission for Gender Equality Act 1996 requires the salaries and allowances or benefits of the above-mentioned members of the independent constitutional institutions to be determined by the President from time to time by notice in the Gazette and approved by the National Assembly. The Commission's recommendations include the recommendation of the salaries of the Commissioners of the Financial and Fiscal Commission in terms of Section 9(1) of the Financial and Fiscal Commission Act 1997, Act number 99 of 1997, members of the Financial and Fiscal Commission are entitled to an annual salaries and such allowances or benefits as determined by the President from time to time by notice in the Gazette and approved by the National Assembly. As required in terms of the legislation mentioned above, the National Assembly is requested to consider and approve the attached draft notices. Yours sincerely.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Silly. You can see then from the letter, colleagues, that the Honourable President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, would like this committee then to consider and approve the attached notice that will give the commissioners a certain percentage increase. Colleagues, you are then expected to either express yourself or for us to move for the approval and adoption of this notice. If I can please hear from honourable members. Honourable members, are you happy to approve what the President has sent us? Honourable Tsotetsi?
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
I can. Morning.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And greetings to everyone that is in the platform. Chair, I would like to move for the approval of the percentage that is highlighted by the President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honourable member. That is much appreciated. Please, can I take a hand for a seconder? Honourable Chauke Adonis.
Thank you very much. And I do apologize, as I've indicated previously in the beginning, I'm unable to raise my hand. I would like to second the recommendation made by the President. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, colleagues. We will move to the next item. Just flight the second term draft program for us.
My apologies, Chairperson. After we moved, I need to read through the report so that members can adopt it as the report of the committee. Can I apply that, Chairperson?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Please proceed, Ms. Silly.
Thank you, Chairperson. The report reads as follows. Report of the Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities on the draft notice on the determination of remuneration of independent constitutional institutions dated 21 April 2026. The Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, having considered the draft notice of the President's determination of the salaries and allowances of members of various institutions, including the Commission for Gender Equality, CGE, reports as follows. Number 1, background. A letter dated 10 January 2026 was received from the President of the Republic requesting the National Assembly to consider the draft notice of determination of the salaries and allowances of members of various institutions, including the Commission for Gender Equality, in terms of the determination of remuneration of office bearers of independent constitutional institutions, Laws Amendment Act 2024 in brackets Act number 22 of 2014 for 2023-2024. Sorry, Chair, it's supposed to be 2025-2026, usually required by the end of the financial year.
Also scroll down so that we can follow you, Ms. Silly, please.
Can you see the document, Chairperson?
I can see the document, but I just see where it says background, unless. So I'm saying if you can move it, can you scroll down, or is it just on my side?
Let me stop share, Chairperson, and re-share again.
Okay. Okay, now we can see it.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
So I'll go to background, Chairperson. A letter dated 10 January 2026 was received from the President of the Republic requesting the National Assembly to consider the draft notice of determination of the salaries and allowances of members of various institutions, including the Commission for Gender Equality, in terms of the determination of remuneration of office bearers of independent constitutional institutions, Laws Amendment Act 2014, Act number 22 of 2014 for, I was saying, Chair, it's supposed to read for 2025, 2026. So I wanted to remove this 2023, 2024. My apologies. For 2025, 2026, usually required by the end of the financial year. On 25 March 2026, the matter was referred to the Committee for consideration and report as per the ATC number 45 of 2026. Section 2195 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa 1996 provides that national legislation must establish frameworks for determining the salaries, allowances, and benefits of judges, the public protector, the Auditor General, and members of any commission provided for in the Constitution, including the Commission for Gender Equality referred to in Section 192 of the Constitution. Number 4, the determination of remuneration of office bearers of independent constitutional institutions, Laws Amendment Act 2014, Act number 22 of 2014, which came into operation on 1 April 2019, creates the necessary framework to determine the salaries of office bearers of Chapter 9 institutions mentioned in the Constitution. Number 5, Section 81 of the Commission for Gender Equality, Act 39 of 1996, provides that the full-time and part-time members of the Commission on Gender Equality are entitled to an annual salaries and such allowances or benefits as determined by the President from time to time by notice in the Gazette and approved by the National Assembly. Number 6, the President received the annual salary recommendations for the public office bearers of the independent constitutional institutions from the Independent Commission for the Remuneration of Public Office Bearers. Number 7, the Commission, having considered, amongst others, the role, status, duties, functions, and responsibilities of the public office bearers, affordability of different levels of remuneration, current principles and levels of remuneration, particularly in respect of organs of state, inflation and available resources of the state, salary increment on the fiscus of the country, recommended a 4.1% salary increment for all public office bearers for the national year 2025-2026. And then the following table, Chairperson, is included: remuneration levels with effect 1 April 2025 of members of the Commission for Gender Equality. Number 1, position. We have the chairperson, the remuneration as of 1 April 2025. It's 1,340,531. Deputy chairperson, it's 1,147,500. Commissioners, it's 1,076,814, and part-time members is 4,237. Committee consideration. The Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities considered, supported and approved the intended termination by the President of the Republic in relation to the members of the Commission for Gender Equality. As such, the committee recommends that the National Assembly approve the notice determining the remuneration of the commissioners of the Commission for Gender Equality. Report to be considered. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Ms. Silly. Colleagues, can I have you again, Honourable Tsotetsi and Honourable Chauke Adonis, can you please move and second again?
Yes, can I ask the audible, Chair?
You are, please proceed.
Yes, so I do move for the adoption of the report as presented on the remuneration commissioner.
Thank you very much. Honourable Tsotetsi has moved. Honourable Chauke Adonis. Honourable Peterson.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
Thank you so much. Okay, colleagues, thank you very much. We've dealt with the first item on our agenda. We are now going to take you through our plan for the second term in the form of our draft second term program. If you can flight it for us, Ms. Silly. Okay. Colleagues, for your consideration, as you know, we're going into the APP and budget vote process this term. We've also got to do our routine oversights. We've got to, of course, also finalize the CGE work. So, and we also go into Youth Month in June. So if you just scroll down, Ms. Silly, we start this morning with our preparation meeting for the second term. Next week, the plan is, colleagues, next week is a committee week, but it's also an oversight week. And you will recall that the Honourable Minister in her last meeting with us had indicated to us that she would really like for us to visit the offices of the department. At that point, she had indicated to us that the department is grounded, they had no more budget, that they operate continuously in a budget deficit, that because of this budget deficit, they're not able to execute their mandate fully, that the conditions in which they work are not conducive for them to perform well, and that it also leads to them not being able to retain professional staff. And so then we thought it important to combine, as those matters relate specifically to the budget of the department, we felt it important then to go and see for ourselves what the conditions are in which they operate in Pretoria. So the plan will be that Mr. van der Westhuizen is currently doing our preparations for logistics for next week. The plan is to arrive in Johannesburg. Members will indicate whether they want to arrive on the Monday or the Tuesday. The hotel that Mr. van der Westhuizen has identified with conference facilities is the Sandton Hotel in Sandton. We will arrive in Johannesburg on the first day. We will meet with our department and the Audit Risk Committee to receive their APP and strat plans. On the same day after lunch, we will meet with the NYDA to do the same. On the Wednesday morning, we will start with the CGE, also receive a report from their Audit Risk Committee. From there, we will leave to Sandton. From Sandton, we will drive to Braamfontein to go and do a walkabout at the CGE offices, just to see what their offices and working conditions look like. From there, we will come back to Sandton to visit the NYDA offices. And we will start the Thursday morning by spending the morning up until lunch with our minister at her department, at our department. And then members will depart. So we would have concluded then oversight at the offices plus the consideration of the APPs. On Tuesday, the 5th, honourable members, I had indicated that we urgently need to do the work again around our constituency issues. Honourable Tsotetsi is going to report back to us in terms of a meeting that he had with a mine pertaining to a school for learners with disabilities. Mama Kahula and I just completed some oversight at a home for children with disabilities that we also want to table. I know the Honourable Kanyile has got issues with regard to the NYDA and other matters. So that on the 5th, you will be given an opportunity, honourable members, to table your constituency matters. In that meeting, we will have our department, the NYDA and other departments, relevant departments, that will be able to provide responses. We will also consider to invite the South African Human Rights Commission, possibly, as they've written to us to say that they want to engage with us on some outstanding matters following our statutory rape inquiry. On Friday the 8th, we will deal with the whistleblower complaints that we have received. We have been advised by the Office of the Institution Supporting Democracy that we should apply the Audi Ultram Partem rule, which means that we have received these whistleblower complaints. They will be shared with honourable members, and then we'll give the CGE, the NYDA, and our department an opportunity to respond to some of those whistleblower complaints. It will not be a very long meeting on the Friday morning, because on that same day we've got plenaries. On the Tuesday, the 12th of May, colleagues, we will adopt our budget vote report. We will then go in a 2-week budget vote cycle. We will not have committee meetings then, because many of you have other committees as well in which you will participate in budget votes. On Tuesday, the 22nd of May, we will have a meeting with the CGE on their research reports, commissioner reports. On the same day, our own content advisor and research team will give us an overview of the CGE public submissions, the public commentary on our shortlisted candidates. Ms. Silly will also give us the SSA and HR report. Then, colleagues, for 3 days, we'll be doing interviews, CGE interviews. On Wednesday, for those of you who've got other committees, you will be able to attend your committee from 9 till 12, your other committee. At 12 promptly, we will start with the interviews till 6:30. The House sits till 6:30 on that day, so you will still be able to go home with the normal transport. On the Thursday, we will all be able to start with our caucuses from 10 till 12. And again, at 6:30, we will finish. We will complete 5 interviews on the first day, 5 interviews on the second day. On Friday morning, we start at 9:30 to complete 4 more interviews. And these interviews will take place at S12A, where we had the NYDA interviews. The next Tuesday, we will consider the outcome of our interview process. We will adopt that report. On Tuesday the 9th, the Honourable Whip, the Honourable Chauke Adonis, had indicated that she had put a suggestion that we should engage with various different departments and like the NYDA, but also key departments on empowerment, youth empowerment budgets and initiatives. We will do that on Tuesday the 9th. Currently, we've got a Friday the 12th meeting with SCOPA. However, this might have to move. This meeting might have to move to the 23rd, as there is a planned youth colloquium. Parliament will be hosting a planned youth colloquium on 2 days. So they've identified 11, 12 June, and this will be at the UWC. And yeah, Tasneem, Ms. Matthews can maybe give us a little bit of information about that later. But Parliament is putting together quite a big event on those 2 days, in which our committee will, of course, play a lead role as well. So this then means that the joint meeting that we are planning with SCOPA about the NYDA and NYDA matters will then move to the last meeting of the term, which is the 23rd. But in essence, colleagues, this gives you an overview of the work that we will be completing in this second term. It will be a very busy second term, but at least it gives us an opportunity to focus on youth issues do the CGE interviews and participate in the budget votes as well. Towards the end of the term, it might be a little bit fluid, as I said, as we have to possibly move the one meeting out, but this is for your consideration, colleagues. If there are any inputs, we will take them. Okay, I don't see any hands, so I assume honourable members are all happy with our draft second term program. Thank you so much. Ms. Silly, we can go to the minutes and reports. I know that honourable members do have copies, and they had copies some while ago. I want us to move to our content and research team at about 10:15. So hopefully this won't take too long, but it is necessary. We do have to adopt our minutes and reports. Okay, you can take us through, just to highlight. Ms. Silly? Colleagues, this is the draft report of the Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities on our
My
oversight.
apologies, Chair. I was muted.
Okay.
So it is a draft portfolio committee report on our oversight visit to Gauteng, to visit Sibonele School for the Blind and Ekuhuleni School for the Deaf on the 6th of February 2026. Thank you, Chairperson. Must I go to... This is the introduction, Chair.
Yes, just scroll through it. Introduction.
The background. The key objectives of the oversight visit.
Okay. You can continue scrolling.
More key objectives, and then the delegation in attendance by the executive and the committee. This is a delegation, or the committee. This is the committee members in attendance, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, members, I think you can see most of us attended, all of us attended. I'm sure you've been able to go through the report. If you are happy to adopt the report, please may I take a mover and a seconder? Honourable Chauke Adwinas. Followed by Honourable Khadebe. Honourable Chauke Adwinas.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. In terms of the report, I am satisfied. I just wanted to check, possibly I might have missed it while going through the report itself. I just wanted to check if the recommendations and the follow-up are also added into the report, because we did make several recommendations and several measures in which we would then follow up with the various departments and also within the provincial departments as well. If I can just be clarified before I move for the adoption.
Okay. Ms. Abrams, Ms. Silly, do you want to give an explanation?
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members. The recommendations are contained in the report, and it was highlighted specifically for each of the visit. So as Yolanda has up on the screen, we cover the committee observations for each of the schools. Yolanda, you can move down to number 4. Then we can indicate to Ms. Chauke Adwinas and the rest of the members what the overview of the recommendations are. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Let's read Ms. Abrams, can you read the recommendations?
Sure, no problem. So for Sibonele School for the Blind, the recommendations was really around the infrastructure, matters pertaining to the fire hazards, and the need for better collaboration between the Gauteng Department of Education and Department of Social Development. Yolanda, you want to move down, please? And then for Ekurhuleni School for the Deaf, Again, the emphasis was also around infrastructure, particularly the procurement of safety sirens and smoke detectors, the need for the filling of vacancies, the recommendation around the mandatory reporting of cases of abuse and neglect. In that instance, the committee concurred with Johannesburg Child Welfare, which is one of the NGOs we had engaged with when we did our statutory rape inquiry, that there was a need for ongoing training of staff regarding mandatory reporting, which includes abuse and neglect. Yolanda, you can move down. For that particular school, there was also a particular recommendation around scholar transport, that the department needed to address the scholar transport challenges for learners with disabilities and provide a progress report to the committee in that regard. We also had specific recommendations for the Gauteng Department of Education. One, which related to the need to fill those vacancies as a matter of urgency. Second, to collaborate with the Department of Social Development on the inclusion of learners with severe and profound intellectual disabilities. What we had seen in the visit was that we had heard from the staff that that wasn't happening. There was a small number of learners with profound and severe intellectual disabilities, but as more would come in, there was definitely a need for better infrastructure, resources, and support. In terms of conditional grants for learners with profound intellectual disabilities, the department also had to submit a detailed report on how the grant is allocated to what schools, the disbursement per school, the financial breakdown of the budget that was spent, and whether there was an over or under expenditure and the reasons here too. That recommendation came specifically as the committee had engaged with both the principal and the officials from the Department of Education, where the principal was saying she didn't receive any of that grant allocation, and hence the committee had noted a report was submitted around the finances, but more information was requested. Chairperson, so that highlights specific recommendations to Gauteng Department of Education and then the two schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we will make this report available to to the departments so that we can follow up as well. Ms. Chalke Adonis, Honorable Khadebe, are you ready to adopt and second?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think there's one additional item that I would like to make an addition to, which was also in relations to the sanitary dignity program. We needed to follow up on that for both the academic institutions and the safety and wellness of learners. Other than that, I then move for the adoptions with those additions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With those additions, the report is then adopted, and we'll take Honorable Khadebe for a seconder, please.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to you, colleagues. I don't know if I'm a little bit behind, but the addition that I wanted to add following the visit of our portfolio committee then. During the visit, the principal reported the incident of burglary and theft. I'm talking about the security. Although the response from the principal, remember, it was not clear. So I think that matter needs urgent intervention. And then secondly, a lack of trained care workers or co-workers, care workers, yeah, co-health workers, yeah, I'm putting it correct. The school do not have trained healthcare workers to support learners with disability. While general assistants are present, they are not adequately trained to manage the needs of these children. We observe the learners self-harming, including hitting their heads on the floor without proper intervention. So what I want to know, maybe in addition, as a portfolio committee, when can we engage the Department of Health on the provision of trained care workers for learners with disability in special schools? This matter falls under the learner well-being and cannot wait for the annual report to be tabled. I don't know how can we structure these recommendations Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those. We appreciate them, Bongane. They can definitely be included. Ms. Abrams?
Yes, Chairperson. So around, we can have a specific recommendation under Gauteng Department of Education, because Ms. Gadebe is correct. One, around the burglary and also the insurance. We can request what a progress report in that regard. How has the school been improved in terms of safety and security, and has the insurance been sorted? And then the second item would be in terms of we've said specific, we've had a general thing around they need to fill vacancies urgently, but specifically we can mention around care workers for learners with severe to profound disabilities. We can ask for a progress report in that regard. So we'll make those two amendments, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So with those amendments, our report is then adopted and we will make the necessary follow-ups. Let's move to the next report on minutes. Ms. Silly. Okay, please proceed. Please just unmute yourself, Ms. Silly, but these were the minutes of the meeting where we considered just scroll up. It was the minutes where we considered the human resources and state security screening verifications of our National Council on Gender-Based Violence candidates. Let's move down to see which members attended. All members attended except for Honorable Mbiko and Dr. Leklape. Honorable members, please can I take a hand for a mover and a seconder?
I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Polwane. Honorable Chalke Aduenes. Honorable Chalke Aduenes.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and apologies for the delay. I hereby second the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much. I also see the hand of Dr. Leklape.
Chair, I just wanted to check whether my absence was without apology.
Yeah, I did see that. Possibly not. Ms. Silly, can we just check on that set of minutes? Because I think Doc did submit an apology on our group. So let's just correct that, please. And welcome, Doc. Good morning. Let's just go to the next set.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The next set. This is the set of 24 Feb where we attended a joint meeting with COCTA. I'm sure members have been able to look at them. We dealt with the matters of the declaration of gender-based violence and femicide as a national disaster. Scroll down. All members were in attendance apart from Honorable Mbiko. We must just correct it here. It says economic freedom fighters, but she's from the Democratic Alliance. Scroll down. I think the other members that were not attending. Okay. And also here, Dr. Leklape would have been in the meeting. Just go up because he actually stayed behind on this day. So we just need to correct that. Honorable Lonzi was not present. Honorable Mailola was not present. Dr. Leklape was in the meeting, so we need to move him as part of the meeting. Honorable members, please may I take a mover and a seconder? Honorable Peterson.
Morning, Chair. Morning, colleagues. Chair, I move for the adoption of the set of minutes.
Thank you so much. Can I take a seconder, please?
I second, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Pulwane. Colleagues, this is the set of minutes of the 3rd of March, where we dealt with the final HR report on candidates for the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. We had a briefing by the Auditor General on the outcome of the annual report of the NYDA, and we had a briefing by the Minister and the NYDA on the annual report. Please scroll down. All of us were in attendance. Please may I take a mover and a seconder? Honorable Chauke Aduenes.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I would move for the adoption of the minutes, but may I also make a submission that when we are adopting minutes, perhaps what should be gone through is in the meeting, if we can go to the recommendations so that we know what it is that we are expected to follow up on. I think it's quite important for us to highlight it for public to know what our recommendations are and what we had expected in terms of those departments or institutions. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I hereby move for the adoption.
Thank you so much, Honorable Tsotetsi.
Thank you, Chair. I second with the very important addition that has been made by Honorable Chauke.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the next set.
My apologies, Chair. I'm not seeing the other minutes that I have opened. Can I open them quickly and then share with members?
No, Ms. Silly, I think what we'll do is let's leave the remainder of the ones
There's
that we must.
3 sets, Chair.
Is it 3 sets?
Yes.
Okay. Then maybe we'll come to it at the end because as the Honourable Chauke Aduenes had pointed out, we must also go to the recommendations so that we can read those into the record for the purposes of the public to follow our recommendations. Unless you want to do that now, or should we go to the content advisor and come back?
We can come back, Chair. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Silly. Ms. Abrams.
Can I make a proposal? Sorry, I'm trying to raise my hand here.
Yes, no problem. No problem. Please proceed.
Yeah, I will propose that perhaps we defer the outstanding to the next meeting. And the reason for that, Chair, is that the next session with the content advisor would have said that it's in-house, in that we will not be allowing it to go out for stream. So if we're saying that the reading into the records of the recommendations are intended to benefit the public, therefore we honestly have to read them out in the meeting that is on stream. So I propose that we then defer to the next meeting, the 3 outstanding minutes. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that is a very sound proposal. Thank you very much for that. I agree. We will then, those 3 sets, Ms. Silly, we will park them and we will table them on the day that we do our constituency matters meeting, which is on the 5th of May. So we will start with the constituency we'll start with the 3 sets of minutes and make sure that once we open the minutes, we check who were present, and then we go to the recommendations so that we read those into the record. So we will do as proposed. That is accepted. Ms. Abrams, can we now go to our closed session? I will hand over to you and your team. Thank you for all the work that you've done in preparation for this meeting. I will hand over to you, Ms. Abrams.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just following on what Honourable Tsotetsi said, I know we have several visitors on the platform now. Would we have them first leave before we continue?
Yes.
I'll take
Let's take
guidance
a
from you.
minute.
Thank
Let's
you.
take a minute. Can we please ask all followers, everybody that's joined us that are not part of our committee, to please now exit our meeting, as this second session is a closed session. I see Mr. Koza still with us. I see Simi Pillay. And there's an honor device. I don't know who that belongs to. And I see a Zuko Bebula. If anybody belongs to a political party in the form of a researcher, they can indicate. But good morning, Honorable Kanyile. Okay, I see.
Chairperson, can I just get guidance? I see Parliament streaming is still on. That means it would be.
Yeah, they need to also exit. Because we did indicate our first session, considering the CGE matter, our second term draft program and our minutes will be an open meeting, and then we'll go to the closed session. Okay, I see they've left us now, I think. Yes, they've exited.